So what does it mean to think critically? Real quick summary. When is someone thinking critically? At the core of all critical thinking is the invitation to assess or judge, which I was just modeling for you. Notice that critical thinking, the mistake often is that people and children will see critical thinking is to criticize or to be critical. Do any of you know the show The Middle? I think it's called The Middle, with Sue Heck and Brick and so on. So I was watching an episode on a flight, and Sue has now gone off to college, and she gets her first English paper back from her professor. And he says, Sue, I need you to be more critical. You need to be more of a critical thinker. And Sue says, but I can't because I'm all butterflies and unicorns. And I'm going, there's that misconception. Sue thinks she's asking him to be a more critical, to criticize, and she's just too nice to be able to be critical. That's the misunderstanding. We are not asking you to be critical of people. Being a critical thinker means I assess or weigh options, and it actually comes from the Greek word krikos, meaning criteria, that it's making thoughtful decisions in light of some established criteria. So moving kids from my favorite is to would this be a good way to. If I asked, anyone see a movie recently at the time in the summer? What'd you see?
Jason Bourne.
So, was it good?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. By the way, I want you to know if I said, did you like it? Was it a good movie? Those are two different questions. Has anyone seen a movie recently that you would admit was a great movie, but it's still not your taste? Star Trek. Just not a Trekkie, okay? But it was well made, okay? Notice the difference between do you like Star Trek? That's not a thinking response, it's a preference. Was it a well-made movie? How about I flip that? Anyone see a movie you really liked and it should never win an award? What'd you say? Bad Moms. Okay. So notice there are those movies which you go and I laughed and it was horrible. Right? Dumb and Dumber. Isn't it a classic? Should it win an Oscar? Probably not, but it's funny. But notice there's a difference here when I say I want you to assess the quality versus did you like it. So when we're inviting our kids to think critically, we're inviting them to make thoughtful decisions using some criteria. And the definition, I'll do this because many of you may have seen this, that critical thinking, the definition we use, is when we invite children to work through a problematic situation where they think about what to believe or how to act, and they make a reasoned judgment using intellectual tools to support. And this is kind of the focus we want if we want thinking classrooms. It's grounding the learning in invitations to solve problems or make thoughtful decisions and building the toolkit to do it. And these are our 4 things we look for in a rich question or task. If you're doing a walkthrough or engaging with teachers, and we want to think, is that a good critical thinking question? Did it provide kids options to consider, to weigh? Notice, was that a great film, an okay film, or a poor film? Set of options. I'm asking you to make a reasoned judgment. I'm asking you to arrive at a conclusion by using criteria and using evidence to support. If you dismiss it, I loved your example of Star Trek. No, it was a bad movie because I don't like Star Trek. That's not a critically thoughtful assessment of the movie. It's a preference response. We want kids to be able to say, I don't love poetry, but that poem was powerful. It met the criteria for a powerful poem. We want to move them from preferences to thoughtful decisions. And in our teaching, and it's very important in the teaching, and what we would call a traditional approach, we tend to teach answers. The answer lies in the text, it's in my lecture, it's in the film I'll give you, and your job is to remember the answer because I'll test you on it later. So the traditional frame has been we teach first and kids are expected to remember or recall. But in a thinking approach, I don't teach answers. That's your job. I give you provocative questions to which I don't have the answer. Your job is to come up with a reasonable answer. But my job is to help you develop the tools necessary to arrive at that answer. And by the way, sometimes those tools involve content. Yes, sometimes I need to teach content for you to engage with that problem in a meaningful way.